see three key pillars as driving the momentum of Islamic finance. The first pillar is strong foundations and a responsive industry. History reminds us that enduring systems are designed with integrity, inclusivity, and foresight. In the Middle East, Medina, under the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, established a market where transparency, fair pricing, and accessibility was guaranteed, making sure the foundation of commerce. So you see that transformation today in the GCC region. You have global investment hubs driven by reforms, including rapid growth of the sustainability agenda type products. Closer to home, we saw the journey beginning with the establishment of the Hajj Provident Fund. That's over half a century ago. And that pioneering institution enabled the start of Malaysia to save in a Sharia compliant way. And from there, milestones in the 80s and 90s laid the foundations for today's ICM. Across ASEAN regulators in our own time have carried forward that ethos, responding to that same agenda of sustainability, adapting, and developing cross-border framework. SE's journey started from the SRI's Link Sukuk framework in 2014, Wakaf Featured Fund framework, wealth management blueprints, and the most recent, the Maqasid guidance in 2023. We've sought to mesh innovation with integrity. So I was reading on my way here a comment made by someone as to where we are heading in the tech space. A statement he said caught my eye, where he says we need to weave innovation into our DNA. And that's something I think we've got to be mindful, because despite the numerous regulatory innovation, regulatory interventions, financial initiatives, innovation must be matched with integrity in order to respond to the market. We've seen it, we've seen it happen, but funds have been raised for various sectors, but such developments and regulations are not static. So a defining step for sure came in for us in 2023, where we issued the Maqasid Sharia guidance. For decades, Maqasid or objectives of Sharia were treated as ideals. Now we are materializing those ideals by embedding them into product design, disclosure, and market conduct, measurable indicators, and sectoral priorities. So for SE, Sharia compliant is no longer the end point. It is the starting point for Sharia purposeful outcomes. Sorry, see, I'm thinking income. Since introduction of the guidance, I'm happy to share with you, we have had 30 plus Sukuk issuances, 10 Islamic funds that have adopted the principles and aspirations in their respective Sharia pronouncements. We started out with principle-based, voluntary. So I'm giving you a teaser. We are committed to making the guidance a fundamental framework for business dealings. So that is not just a box ticking. It will be a market signal. And our vision is for ISM products and practices to be evaluated not only for compliance in form, but for their ability to create lasting value for society, the economy, and the environment. The second pillar is global reach. We are seeing so much in the markets these days. Liberation Day surely was another milestone this year. Economics, politics evolves every day. So we've got to maintain that competitive edge. ICM remains a vital driver. Over the past more than 30 years, the capital market has been supported by various comprehensive capital market master plans. So I'm sure some of you in this room has been engaged. We have started this year the process of shaping views and insights for the longer term. The next CMP4 is due for 2026. But in there, as part of us growing into our next phase, we also see the continued focus on the internationalization agenda. We've got to continue facilitating and encouraging cross-border transactions, mutual access, and two-way growth. Not only attracting investors into Malaysia, but enabling our players to expand abroad. So these efforts are targeted and strategic. We want to strengthen our ties with the GCC, where demand for products like sustainable and Sharia compliant continues to rise. But we also want to continue engagements with other major financial markets. So internationalization is therefore essential to diversify and expand our strategic footprint. But it's also about strengthening our region. As chair of ACMF in 2024, this will remain a priority for us. ASEAN has a population of over 600 million people, 60% being under 35 years. So if you can't say that's one of the most dynamic investors bases globally, we don't have enough reach, we don't have enough breadth. We've been talking about Mars. SC has been pushing that agenda in terms of the ASEAN region where we're working with our counterparts. Mars is actually an acronym for mitigation, adaptation, resilience, and sustainable finance. And that's a space we know, and we're very confident that Islamic finance and Islamic capital market can play a role. So these connections are built on regulatory diplomacy. I mean, we have obviously standard, we have linkages with global parties around the globe. We signed an MOU, for example, with ISDB in 2024. And that was meant to also expand on the Islamic capital market and our footprints. My third and final key point is the future we use or we choose. Domestically, we see the 13 Malaysia Plan and Capital Market Master Plan for guiding us. Internationally, you have policy documents and aspirations such as GCC Vision 2030, Indonesia's Green Finance Roadmap, Africa's Islamic finance strategies. Everyone's continuing to raise their bar for their individual jurisdictions. The futures of Sukuk, ladies and gentlemen, will be retail accessible. We are looking at that. And that's where the inclusivity part comes in. Digitally native and linked to pipelines of impactful projects from climate resilient infrastructure to essential social services and community-based initiatives. And to achieve this, we need to explore ways and channels towards an inclusive capital market whilst ensuring that capital market instruments remain both safe and impactful. We did kind of a paradigm shift last year. We announced the establishment of a social exchange. Most of you may not see that it is important, or because it's the third sector. How do you make money out of the third sector? But for the capital markets, I think we are trying to broaden that depth and bringing impact and bringing inclusivity. So next year you will see the social exchange take off, God willing. So the future of Islamic funds will also be inclusive with circulation. We need to channel more capital to MSMEs, social enterprises, cross-border impact investments. How do you expand the distribution reach of Islamic funds? How do you embed measurable reporting so that investors can see the tangible outcomes of their investments? I mean, we've had conversations with companies that say monies go out to CSR. It doesn't go down to the ROI. Okay, fine. How do we reflect that in the reporting so that we know? I had a conversation with someone the other day. Apakah dia profit sebenar? A bit like apa dia harga benar lah in your petrol. So the future of fintech will bring tokenized assets, AI-assisted Sharia compliance, new asset classes. But ladies and gentlemen, with all that, we also face governance challenges. And that's a non-negotiable. We are taking steps to strengthen our regulatory approach around areas such as data governance, algorithmic transparency, cross-border digital offerings, and cybersecurity so that innovation in the ICM can evolve in ways that are trusted, ethical, and inclusive. And none of this, obviously, of all of the above is not possible without talent. So we need the new generation of Islamic capital market leaders, professionals fluent in finance, technology, sustainability, and Sharia, to navigate themselves in increasingly complex landscape. It's not about Sharia advisors just saying, I only look at the Sharia pronouncement and the form and I don't look at what else happens after that. It's not my business whether the investor is actually compromised or oppressed. And that's something that we are very focused on. We are looking at building up Sharia advisors. We have programs like Sharia mentorship, new schools, new collaborations that we're doing with different partners. We work with many different universities, some local, some overseas. But in all that, we need to remind ourselves, Sharia governance is that the emphasis must be beyond compliance. Advisors and experts must look for innovation, drive thought leadership, and be guardians of integrity. A bit like guardians of the universe. I mean, we are all, after all, stewards of the world. So you also have to be guardians of integrity. That guidance must ensure that products are not just technically Sharia compliant, but purposeful, aligned with Maqasid al-Sharia, and delivering real value to society. And if most of you who have seen our Maqasid guidance, we actually curated that for the capital markets, not at the high theology 5-pillar level. So this is critical because both investors, domestic and international, are seeking assurance and comfort that Sharia compliant products embody impact, strong governance, and sustainability. Through it all, one truth remains. The ultimate benefactor of the Islamic financial system is not the issuer, not the regulator or the market. It is the people we serve and the planet we share.